Hello again. Whoops. Almost knocked over the camera. My pile's getting wonky. Um, Here on Sunday, January the 26th. I don't know why that was such a mouthful, but for some reason I almost wasn't able to say it. I did skip a day. If I had any thoughts about doing a video yesterday, I went through some kind of time warp yesterday. I don't know. I didn't realize how long I was up, and then I crashed out in the chair, and then I woke up and it was dark, and I had no idea what reality was yesterday. So I don't know if I was probably too lazy to make a video yesterday anyway. But I've got myself quite a pile here today, I guess, to make up for it, because I grabbed the next couple of piles I had going up there. This one's been up underneath the thing. I don't know. I'll set these here. The first one we have is Zack and Miri Make a Porno, which is a very funny film that I watched with Mark and Sarah one time, so I had to have my own copy of it. In some places, this is actually the name of this movie is censored. It's actually just, I think in some places it's called Zack and Miri, but the full title is Make a Porno. They make a porno. Get ready for the wild comedy that goes where no movie has dared go before. Seth Rogen and Elizabeth Banks star as two cash-strapped roommates who try to get out of debt by making an adult film. Once the cameras start rolling, things quickly get complicated and hilarious. Writer-director Kevin Smith is at his funniest, backed by a motley crew cast, including Craig Robinson, Jason Mewes, Justin Long, and Brandon Routh. Critics promise if you like the 40-year-old virgin, Knocked Up, and Superbad, you'll love Zack and Miri. That doesn't really tell you much about it, other than people like, yay, it's great. But it's got a good, cast of characters. They all make the movie interesting in their own special little ways. So this is Zack and Miri Make a Porno. I would say it's definitely worth a watch. Now this is one way back when Hastings was still a thing, and my friend Katie would ask me if I've ever watched this, because I bought it when she was there. It's Chris Kattan in Bollywood Hero. Now you can probably see it's nice and shiny. I don't actually know necessarily why I bought this film. I can tell you it's probably because it's a comedy and it has a nice shiny cover. Chris Kattan is fed up with not being taken seriously by Hollywood, so he accepts an offer to star in a big-time Mumbai production called Peculiar Dancing Boy. But before he can conquer India, Chris will have to survive a whole new land of culture clashes, jealous rivals, runaway egos, power-hungry starlets, and extreme dancing lessons. How far does an actor have to go in this world to fight the bad guys, get the beautiful women, and finally play the hero? So, interesting enough setup, but I think it was on sale for super cheap when we still had a Hastings that I definitely miss very much. So it would be interesting. Even their little dresses down there are shiny, if you can see that. So I mainly bought it probably because I think it was cheap. I think it was on sale, and I was like, it has a shiny cover and it might be funny, so I'll check it out sometime, and still have it. So that's that one. Coneheads. The reason I bought this is because they were in that. There was some ad campaign that the Coneheads were in a few years ago, and I was like, that makes. I remember there was a Coneheads movie, and I'm like, I want to see the Coneheads movie because of the ad campaign. Whatever, the commercials were pretty funny, and I wanted to see the movie, and as you can see, I bought it and still have not seen it. So it might be funny. This was a Saturday Night Live skit that got turned into a movie. So it's just, they're aliens and they, misunderstand human culture and blah, 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 kind of some funny kind of stuff like that. So, but eventually, someday, I will actually watch that. Oh, and right here with that, I've seen part of this movie. It's Pat. That's another Saturday Night Live character. And I remember today that the character might be seen as kind of risque. because, you know, they can never tell if it's a man or a woman or whatever, and that's where the humor comes from. I remember seeing part of it on cable, and they think they figured out whether Pat is a man or a woman, because they think they see him peeing standing up, and then it just turns out he's like pouring juice into the toilet or something for some reason. I can't remember. So I did want to see this. I did want to see the rest of this from what I'd seen on cable. But I have not seen the rest of it, so I can't really say for sure whether it was good or not. So we'll just put that over there with Coneheads. This is a movie that is unfortunately covered up by a sticker. Let's see if I can get that off of there. There we go. Batteries not included. This is... I did see this a long time ago. I don't remember it being terribly funny, but I do remember I kind of liked the film because all these little alien things come down when an unscrupulous real estate developer sends thugs into a deteriorating tenement to get rid of the last 5 tenants. They need nothing short of a miracle to stay where they are. In this delightful fantasy presented by Academy Award winner Steven Spielberg, little stands between the brave holdouts and the street. But one night, when all hope seems lost, tiny visitors from outer space mysteriously glide through their windows. As if in answer to their prayers, the incredible creatures begin to turn the tide with their magical powers. Filled with dazzling special effects, probably for the time, keep that in mind, the amazing story of intergalactic warmth stars the acclaimed husband-wife team of Hume Cronion and Academy Award winner Jessica Tandy as a pair of feisty long-term tenants whose faith is rewarded in ways they never expected. So I remember this being an interesting movie at the very least, with the little creatures and stuff. You know, the movie that I need with this, which I believe I own, but it's somewhere else. I don't know. Spaced Invaders. I'm pretty sure I have that one somewhere. Those two need to go together in my collection. My next one here, I remember this as a spoof movie. In the hilarious tradition of Airplane and Hot Shots, we have Mafia, the comedy you can't refuse. I cannot remember for sure if I saw this. An epic saga of disorganized crime. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I honestly can't remember if I saw this or not, where on my scale of spoof movies I would put it. But it is another spoof movie, Mafia. If you're into that sort of thing, and obviously they spoof, mafia movies and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't really know for sure. But it is another spoof movie that I own. Now, here's at least one classic. I don't know how people would feel about the second one, but I have a double feature gift set of Ghostbusters 1 and 2. And it had been a long time since I had seen these. And I watched the first one. I intended to watch the second one, but for some reason Nick ended up getting involved, and I ended up not getting a chance to watch the second one. But as you can see, it has two little, it has the movies in it, Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. And I don't know if there's anything special in here. Well, that's the artwork for the first one. And I assume the artwork for the second one is fairly similar. Yes, fairly similar. And then it also has this movie scrapbook that comes along with it that I've never actually even looked at. But I guess it's kind of, you get to see the little, little drawings and that kind of stuff of it. Little concept art, I suppose. And then, of course, there's an ad for the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on the back. Only 15 cents per bag. Ooh. So, this is back when I did actually buy something with the intention to watch it, and actually watched at least the first one. I didn't, like I said, Nick ended up getting involved that day that I was sitting down to watch them, and I didn't end up getting the second one watched, but that's my little gift set of the two Ghostbusters movies. So, I own them both. Good for me. Good for me. This next one is depending on how you feel, I guess. I enjoyed the movie Saved because it talks a lot about, religious people. A good girl, Mary, Jenna Malone, and her best friend, Hilary Faye, Mandy Moore, are at the top of the food chain at American Eagle Christian High School. But all that is about to change in this subversively funny USA Today, according to USA Today anyway, teen comedy about hypocrisy and high school, also starring Macaulay Culkin and Patrick Fugit. Saved is a boldly hilarious satire, according to Rolling Stone. So, this actually is. I seem to remember it being very. I don't think it necessarily puts religious institutions in the best light, at all. But I guess it can point out some, depending on how you feel, I suppose, about religious. You probably either love or hate this movie. So, since I'm, I mean, maybe not. It might be okay for you, but I do remember this having an important. It was funny. It was, and I seem to, especially from where I was at the time of this, it was definitely a good. I think it had a good point, and a good message necessarily to people. So it's a religious comedy, but I don't seem to remember it putting religious institutions in the best of, or maybe religious people necessarily in the best of light, but also maybe so by the end of it. Maybe I mean maybe it's one of those double-edged things where it's kind of like it could be taken more than one way. I should probably watch it again and see, if it's all negative toward religion and religion institutions, or if maybe there's some kind of saving grace, so to speak. But I do remember it being very entertaining for me, at least. This is a movie I have not seen, and this is the remake. That's how some people probably felt about it. Bad News Bears with, what's his name? Bad Santa. Billy Bob Thornton. Apparently, I was interested in watching this movie, and I bought it at some point, and I have not watched it. So, I never saw the original Bad News Bears. But apparently, however they marketed the new one, I was interested in watching it at some point for some reason, and I bought it and never watched it. Much like every other movie that I've ever bought in my entire life. Much like The Onion movie. This is a movie I do remember. The Onion is a website, a news, a satire, spoof website who comes up with ridiculous stories, that you see, posted on Facebook. Sometimes people will post the most ridiculous stories on Facebook, and you'll be like, that can't be real, because it's probably not. It's probably a parody. It's probably a satire website like The Onion movie. There's been a million websites like The Onion pop up since The Onion became popular, because everybody wants to do it now. But this is their movie, and I've, once again, never seen it. They have a lot of, it looks like an onion, though. Ta-da. Raw and uncut. It has a lot of vignettes, I guess you could say, different things. The Onion invades DVD, based on the wildly popular newspaper hailed by The New Yorker as the funniest publication in the United States. The Onion movie brings you uncensored, uninhibited, unrated news and views from around the world. In a stunning development, when Onion News anchorman Norm Archer is asked to compromise his journalistic integrity to please a new corporate sponsor, he doesn't just get mad, he gets angry. Taking aim at pop stars, prisoners, peace talks, and of course high testosterone action films, The Onion movie delivers hard-hitting headlines and side-splitting laughs. So it might be one of those, it might have kind of like a overarching plot, but there's a lot of different, kind of like the Weird Al movie, UHF. I seem to remember that had a lot of little different, like, spoof moments and vignettes in it with different things, like Conan the Librarian. That's one that popped. Eventually we're going to get to that one, because I'm pretty sure I own it. But yeah, so I don't. This might have some kind of overarching plot to the whole thing, kind of like, or with the horror movies when we went through like Creepshow and Tales from the Dark Side and whatever those were, where they had kind of an overarching thing, but then there was like, multiple different stories within the movie itself. So since I haven't seen this, I can't necessarily say, but I definitely know the Onion, the ideas that they come up with just for their website are ridiculous. So, and I seem to remember there was some kind of news story in the trailer for this, something about the highway was packed with people who were flocking to like the one place left in America that you could smoke, something like that. I don't know. It's just ridiculous news stories. So I look forward to someday watching that. And my last one that I have here that I believe I saw at some point. I was trying to get the sticker out of the way. But yay, there it goes. Evolution. It's another one of those sci-fi, kind of like Galaxy Quest kind of things, where the aliens come in, and for the makers of Ghostbusters and Road Trip. So that's cool. Outrageous and hilarious. The makers of Ghostbusters and Road Trip give you a hilarious look at life on Earth and joins forces with the biggest stars in the universe, David Duchovny, Orlando Jones, Sean William Scott, and Academy Award winner, or Academy Award nominee, she might have won by now, Julianne Moore, make a discovery of alien life forms that could change the world. But when the aliens try to take over the planet, our four stellar heroes rocket into action to save us. The laughter hits you at the speed of light in the comedy about heavenly bodies, mutual attraction, and close encounters. So I want to say that I saw this, or at least saw part of it, but I don't remember. I know it was at least one that I wanted to see. So I either need to see it or remind myself of it since, obviously it's not open. And I bought it in May 2007. You can see the little date on here somewhere. Where is it? I think I'm pointing at it. Yeah, May 2007. You can see. So I've had this for a while. But I feel like this was kind of in the same, kind of like Galaxy Quest, kind of sci-fi comedy, kind of blah, 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 that sort of thing. So, Men in Black. Men in Black is like a sci-fi comedy kind of thing. So, I feel like that would be right up my alley. But anyway, that's the last movie that I have for today. So, I feel like I didn't really know much what to say about most of them. So, it's probably not too long of a video. But since I missed yesterday, but like I said, I wasn't sure that I was going to do this every day anyway. And more in my pile were more stand-up specials, so I had to put those aside and grab this other pile that I had up underneath there. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to do stand-up specials. Maybe I'll do like special, I don't know. Because it's going to be like, okay, I own these. But anyway, they're not really movies, they're not plots, I guess. They're just stand-up specials that I own. But anyway, that is today's selection of comedy films that I own and may or may not have seen. We never know. We never know. It's like all the other movies that I ever buy and then let sit here. But anyway, that is today's pile, and I'll be back eventually one of these days with another pile. And I'll see you for when I see you.